Okay, so okay, perfect. So one of the things that we have to understand is that if you have a tree like this, like branches, so you have the ground here. So this is the branches. So we have the fruit system here, and we have the root system here. So some of the uh, fruit system is the wealth, is the increase, is the wealth, is the increase we want, is the prosperity one. Yeah, of course, is the riches, the abundance life we want. So something is actually responsible for this, which is the root system, which is of course knowledge, of course, knowledge of how to make it work. We have the command, the understanding how things work, and wisdom how things work. So something is always responsible for the food system. So anybody that actually wants a sustainable wealth must understand and must know, understand, and apply it. They must apply some principles, some rules that you need to know, understand, and apply it. So why is it that we must actually pay attention to the root system? Is because Proverbs constantly teaches that number one, it teaches that number one that wisdom is a source of wealth. You see, Proverbs constantly wisdom is the source of wealth. So many places. So one of the places mentioned in the book of Proverbs 3, verse 16. Of course, Proverbs 18, verse 21. Proverbs 14, verse 24. So if you want to have a sustainable wealth, they must focus on the source. Another thing also made us understand that number two here, then bring it down a little. That knowledge understanding produces increase. Proverbs also made us understand that knowledge, understanding, not on understanding, produces increase. So the reason why people don't increase are something they don't know that always teach us that businesses don't fail, people don't fail, they don't just know enough. I think Proverbs 24, 3 to 4. Proverbs 24, 3 to 4. So the principle that governs poultry farming, fish farming, and if you don't understand how to give those vaccines to those those poultry chicks, you will lose the birds. One flu can come and clear all your farm. So there's a need to understand how to build and run a company, like hotels, like banks, like industries. The rules that ethics, that business ethics, and business is business ethics. It doesn't matter the kind of business you do. So you have to also understand that wealth obtained through wisdom, wealth obtained without wisdom fades away. Number three, wealth, of course, obtained without wisdom, without wisdom, fades away, fades away. Of course, we also understand that Proverbs 13, verse 11. Proverbs 13, verse 11. So if we try to cut the corner short and trying to get it anywhere, it will fade away. So that is why the process is non-negotiable. Why? Because um, the discipline you form and develop in the process helps you sustain outcomes and results. So number four here, wealth obtained through wisdom endures. Wealth of obtained through wisdom endures. Wealth obtained through wisdom, of course, endures. We see that in the book of Proverbs 8, verse 18. Proverbs 8, verse 18. Durable riches. And the last thing we have to put our foundation before we talk about the four things. I've not gotten to the fourth of them yet, but I'm trying to just see I can paint some pictures that before you say I want wealth, increase, prosperity, abundance, then you have not. Okay, wisdom is a source. Understanding produces increase. And you try to obtain it without them, it will fade away when you need him the most. Then if you try to obtain through them, it will endure durable riches. And the last one I need to put here is that God's blessings, of course, make you rich and added no sorrow. Number five, God bless and added no sorrow. So when God is involved, you have a blessings without a sorrow. That is a book of Proverbs 10 verse 22. That God's blessings are without sorrows. There are a lot of blessings that come with sorrows at the end of the day. So now if I can write God blessing comes without sorrow. So that is why I must mention these four things that is responsible for wealth. But before we still do the four things, I still have to make one or two major, like, whenever I want to talk about things like this, wealth, success, leverage, system structures, I always find a common ground where all of us can accept. And the only way we accept the common ground is to look for scriptures so that we can agree on it. Once we agree on it, forget about it, I can build any structure on top of it. If I put a structure of 100-story building, I can do 19, I can do 80, and sure it will stand. So that is why you see me always bring out some of these strategies to make sure we agree on certain things. Because I'm going to give the four simple things you need to know, understand, and apply. So you not start arguing with me, because you need wisdom as a source. You need understanding and knowledge for increase. And if you try to obtain it without wisdom, it will fade away. If you try to obtain it with wisdom, it will endure. And know that it is God that actually, of course, give wealth without sorrow. So let me just show you one more thing. Deuteronomy 8 verse 8. Deuteronomy 8 verse 8. Verse 18, sorry. Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 says that it is him that giveth us power to get wealth. Still not power to get wealth. So and why he does that is because he wants to establish his covenant, which is what to our fathers. So, and the power to get wealth is fundamentally three things. Power to get wealth is fundamentally number one, knowledge; number two, understanding; number three, wisdom. So these are the three fundamental powers. The fundamental help you um, because before we talk about the four things, okay, okay, perfect, it's fine. So before that, the four things, I still have to put some one or two pillars or one or two statements that God always gave us power to on purpose to establish and keep His word. So God wants us to be the source. God wants to be the source of our success. He's more interested in your success than you are interested, because He wants to take the glory, and it's only we want you to ascribe the glory to Him, that He is the reason for your season. He just wants it. That's why He said, His glory will be shared with no man. So He always wants to be you to reference Him. Okay, it's just like you are a father, you have children, you pay your children's school fee. You like your children to always say, my daddy pay my school fee, or my mommy pay my school fee. You always like that. My mommy bought me the shoe. There's a kind of feeling when somebody ascribes some blessings to you, you know, he give you some thanks, reference you. Maybe a leader that you actually came to your team, he gave him a book to read, let's say Secrets of the Millionaires Man. The leader read the book, summarize, and start discussing. He said, wow, I never knew there was 17 Wells files. I never knew that was a life and the cause and effect. So the excitement you always get when somebody ascribes some thanks to you, some reference to you. So how much more God? So the reason why He actually wants me and you to actually be wealthy, because He's interested in the glory. And that is why I will start talking about the four things you need to understand and apply to build wealth. And let's begin to do that today. If you're excited about it, shall I? Okay, I need to clean all these things I wrote. All these I wrote was just to lay some foundation so that there'll be no conflict in your spirit, in your mind. We'll start mentioning the four things. So I have to clean it. So if you've not written it down, you have to copy from your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, copy is allowed. Just copy the right card and don't copy somebody's name. I need this thing. This my dusters needs to be changed. Seriously. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So I missed one thing. What did I clean here? Uh-uh. Okay, I did not clean anything. Okay, I did not clean anything. Okay, number one. Right, number one. That thing I did not clean it. I thought I cleaned something else. Okay. Number one thing you must understand is that you have to decom conflict. Deconflict yourself in the world in the matter of wealth. Deconflict yourself in the matter of wealth creation. Okay, so I'll give you the note. So you have to settle the matter of God's will. Okay, so you have to decide and make up your mind that it is God's will that you will be wealthy. Because if you don't believe that you'll be wealthy, no matter what you do, you know, I told you belief controls behavior. So if you don't settle the matter that it is your responsibility to be wealthy in this life, it's your responsibility to have resources to fulfill God's dominion mandate and purpose for your life on earth. No matter what we are going to teach you, no matter the kind of strategy, no matter what kind of money, resources will come to you, you will lose them all. So you need to deconflict yourself in the matter of wealth creation. Settle it that God can and God will do it for you. So the matter of God can, and God will do it for you. And God will do it for you. So a lot of people don't doubt God, they don't doubt the power of God, but they doubt the will of God for their life. So they doubt the will of God for them, the will of God for their prosperity, for their wealth. So they doubt whether they know that God can do it, but they don't have the power of God. But I doubt this is a great problem is. So they are secretly doubting that maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe that's why I'm struggling. If God did not want me to be wealthy, if God want me to be rich, travel, you know, a lot of issues. So we have to settle the matter that not just God can do it for you, God will do it for you. So once you are sure, deep down, you are not conflicted again, you are convinced and you are convicted that God will do it for you. Then we can start. I'll give you the note to write on the four of them, but this just first one. I'll give you the note for the first one, give you other three. So because one of the reasons why people can never um, be wealthy in life, or is because internally they're doubting if God will do it for them. Whenever they have challenges, they suddenly remind them where they are coming from. And that is why I would like us to write on our notes. Very, very important. Okay, write it down on your notes. Every business entrepreneur must begin with a certain conviction. Every business entrepreneur must begin with a certain conviction. Every business entrepreneur must begin with a certain conviction that God can and God will make him wealthy. Every business entrepreneur must begin with a certain conviction that God can and God will make him wealthy. So, because if you don't believe that God will make you wealthy, you can come, give strategy, engage in the process. You are secretly doubting yourself. It will not work. It's called self-sabotage. It's called self-limiting beliefs. So every business entrepreneur must begin with uh, um, with conviction that God can and God will make him wealthy. And I'll give you a reason why you should believe that God can and God will make you wealthy. A lot of reasons because number one, you believe that everybody that work with God always do well. Like God, Abraham did very well. So if I tell you, I claim the blessing, Abraham's blessings are mine. I'm from the. No, you should also claim the wealth of two. And a lot of them I will share with you that actually God actually put resources in the hands of his children just because he wants his purpose and plan to fulfill. And if he's a God of 1,000 hills, a God of cattle, a gold, diamond, so why are you poor? Why are you struggling? People are secretly struggling because they doubt. They just doubt that it's not meant for me. I've suffered for a long. Things are not always going well. I'm from a poor background, and all those skills you give is the reason why that people are still struggling. Not because, and that will make them lose sight on God's given potentials in them. So until this question is answered, write it down. Until this question is answered, every financial breakthrough feels uncertain. Until this question is answered, Every financial breakthrough will feel uncertain. Every financial aspiration will feel like a suspect. Until this question is answered, every financial breakthrough will feel uncertain, and every financial aspiration will feel as a suspect. So until this question is answered, every financial breakthrough will feel uncertain, and every financial aspiration will feel like a suspect. So until this question is answered, every financial breakthrough will feel uncertain, and every financial aspiration will feel like a suspect. You know, someone came to our millionaire training yesterday in the millionaires hall upstairs. So, and in my presentation, then we talk about ideas, success, strategy, leverage. We don't bring in Bible scriptures at all, most likely, like we do in millionaire school downstairs here. So after I went to one of our leader ambassador Aiden and said, that your mentors, and that money, they talk. He did not mention Bible portion at all. And did not talk about God. The guy told him, see, you came for a class where I talk about it's a strategic class. It's a class, a different section. As if he came to and said, nah, he's not certain that God will make him wealthy. He's okay with his poverty. And he's telling that the poverty contentment is good will of God for his life. I told him, please, I'm done with you. Stand up and be going home. You have stayed your welcome. That's the man left office. Because he's still not convinced. He knows God can make someone wealthy. But he doesn't know that God can make him wealthy. He doesn't believe. Deep down, he doesn't believe. And out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. If I sit down there and talk about Nigerian problem, it will be there. Economy challenges, the problem of the economy, fuel subsidy, removal, a tax reform policy, the way the things are hard, the guy will be comfortable. That is why the quality of conversations you have matters a lot. So when the matter is settled, wealth ceases to be non-negotiable, and wealth issues to align. So write it down on your note. God does not hesitate about making you wealthy. God does not. He does not hesitate about making you wealthy or making you prosperous. He doesn't hesitate. It's not a matter with God. It's not even a problem. The problem is not God. The problem has always been you. It's always been me. It's always been us. God does not hesitate about making us wealthy. Full stop. He's not conflicted. He's not conflicted about your wealth, your influence, and your financial capacity. So God does not hesitate to make you wealthy. He does not. Full stop. He does. He is not conflicted about your wealth, about your influence, and your financial capacity. It's not a problem. He's not conflicted. He knows for sure that even if you can believe, that's why without faith it's impossible to please God. And he that must ask must believe that he will give it to him. If you don't believe it, you're a double-minded man, unstable in all your ways, and you shall not receive anything from the Lord, nothing. So God is not conflicted. He's not conflicted about your wealth, about your influence, about your financial capacity. So full stop. He knows exactly what happened when compassion meets capacity. He knows for sure. He knows exactly what happened when compassion meets capacity. Assignment, expansion. He understand. They are compassionate about it. You meet him, of course, you will expand, you feel purpose, and the kingdom work will accelerate in your hand. You know exactly what happened when compassion meets capacity, compassion meets assignment, expansion, and the kingdom of God will accelerate in your hands. So it's not a problem. It's not even an issue. Imagine the president of the country, of course, don't have a problem with his children moving around with his name as a president. My father is a governor, my father is Okuku, my father is Nusobum. They don't have a problem with it. How much more God? So I don't want to be comfortable with lack, because that is not God's divine plan for your life. I don't want to be comfortable with just managing, just enough. No. We deserve more than enough. Say, I'm more than enough. I'm more than enough. So before anything else, entrepreneurs must deconflict the challenges at once. I must embrace the prosperity as part of divine instruction, divine mandate for life. You must embrace it. You must look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a billionaire, I'm a success, I'm healthy and strong. You must describe yourself the way heaven defines you. I'm faithful and wonderfully made. You must decide. Because some people still secretly doubt that the subject of wealth, and they have problem with it. They are not comfortable with wealth discourse. I understand them very well, because the time you spend so much time in the dark. When you open your eyes and see light, it will affect your eyes. So you have to close your eyes dim a little bit. So the challenging part is that many entrepreneurs are conflicted with the will of God not with the ability of God. So they don't have problem with the ability of God, with the power of God. They are very okay with God's ability. They know that God has the capacity and ability to make someone wealthy. They don't like the problem. They don't have problem with it. They always happen with the will of God for their life. Whether it is God's will that I will make it in life, I will help people, I will pay children's school fee. Okay. If you don't want to be wealthy, just be wealthy because you need to pay people's school fee at least 20 every year. You need to at least give so to the widow, give to the less privileged. At least you're able to do three things for life: put food on your table, clothes on your back, roof over your head. Basic needs of life. You shouldn't be begging, you shouldn't be complaining. At least you should be able to leave something for your children. At least you should be able to think about legacy. So at least you know that I need to leave something behind. You cannot leave anything behind when you don't have anything. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So at least settle this matter. If I let that again on a note, many entrepreneurs are conflicted. See the issue of conflict. Many entrepreneurs are conflicted with the will of God, not with the ability of God. Many entrepreneurs are conflicted with the will of God, not with the ability of God. They are conflicted with the will of God, not with the ability of God. That's why you read the book that says, think and grow rich, not pray and grow rich, not fast and grow rich, not complain and grow rich. It's thinking. Because the deeper you think, the more understanding you have. The reading and the thinking and writing. Thinking must be on paper. So if you think, you become, God wants to actually settle the matter in your thoughts. Because any battle you win in your mind, you can win in the physical life. Any battle you cannot win in your mind, you cannot win in this physical life. Anything that in your mind you lose, you're already losing. But things are created twice, one in the mind, one in the hand. So if you win in your mind, it becomes, many entrepreneurs are conflicted with the will of God, not with the ability of God. Full stop. Yeah, we know that God can, but we are not sure if God will do it. That's the thing. We know that God can do it. A lot of people are not sure that God will do it for them. Tell your neighbor, if nobody succeeds in life, I will succeed. Tell your neighbor, if nobody succeeds in Nigeria, I will succeed. If nobody succeeds in Bible States, I will succeed. Tell your neighbor, if nobody succeeds in New York, I will succeed. So even if nobody is going to heaven, me, I will go to heaven. Even if nobody is having good life, me, I will have good life. Even if nobody is enjoying good health, me, I will enjoy it. Even if nobody have a successful business, a successful investment, me, I will have. If nobody have a successful marriage, me, I will have. So it's about making out that resolution that you are in for good for good. So when you are in for good, no matter the challenges to my situation, you already said the matter is a done deal. It's not a done deal. So many people are conflicted whether God wants them to be rich and wealthy. They are conflicted if they are going to enjoy abundance life. Because they've faced so much in lack and challenges of life that they suddenly forget the will and plan of God for their life. So let's write this down, not very important. If God has a will for you to be wealthy, then He must also have a way for you to become wealthy. Write it down on your note. I'm going to show you some of the ways. I told you the 4 things I just mentioned. We are still in number 1. Write it down. If God has a will, underline the word will, for you to be wealthy, then God must also have a way for you to become wealthy. Underline the word way. If God has a will for you to be wealthy, then God must also have a way for you to be wealthy. If God has a will, there should be a way. Often shows a way. I'm going to mention that shortly. So if God has a will for you to be wealthy, then God must also have a way for you to be wealthy. So we have to discuss those items. So write it down, very important. That is full stop. God's ways cannot be the way of sweat, stress, struggle, and strife. God's ways cannot be a way of sweat, stress, struggle, and strife. Yeah, if God has a will, I'm not disputing the fact, He must have a way. But if God must have a way, it will not just be a way of sweat, stress, struggle, and strife. Doesn't mean you will not work, you work. But the work you are working is different. I told you, work higher in the higher level of value creation. You are working the work of documenting your processes to hand over to someone else. The kind of work you work and you're just so frustrated. But the kind of work you work, you're enjoying the work because this one, I'm going to work for 2 years, 3 years, 7 years. And I will hand over the processes of the implementation to someone else. I'll move to the level of manager, spend another 3 years, hand over to someone, move to the level of communicators and imaginators. So you start the work as an implementer, but you're thinking as an imaginator. All your work you're working is mental work. That's the real work. So if God has a will for us to be wealthy, then he must also have a way for us to be wealthy. And if he must have a way, it's not the way of sweat, stress, struggle, and strife. Write it down. Those words are not heaven patterns. Those words are okay. No, sorry. Because those are the world method, not heaven pattern. Those are the world. Those are the world methods and not heaven patterns. Those are the world's methods. Those are the world methods and not heaven's pattern. Those are the worldly way of doing things, not heavenly pattern. So those are the world's method, not heaven's pattern. Full stop. God's way must have spiritual roots. God's way must have spiritual roots. God's way must have spiritual roots, which is bracket open knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. God's way must have spiritual roots. God's way must have spiritual roots, bracket open knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Full stop. God's ways must glorify God and not man. God's way must glorify God and not man. So if God has a will, there must be a way. If there must be a way, it's not the way of sweat, strife, struggle, and stress. And because these words, you see, are God's method and not heaven's pattern. Because God's way must have spiritual roots, and God's way must glorify only God and not man. So let me begin to give this in belly. These are conflicts. Deconflict yourself of wealth creation. Let go of the mind that God can do it for people, but God will not do it for you. Get rid of that mind. Believe that God can and God must do it for me. Because I'm going to mention some things today to understand, because I don't know why I will be talking to somebody about how to have a steady cash flow on your business. And he's the one that started the business. Nobody forced you with gun and said, start this business. You sat down a presentation, you listen carefully, possibly ask enough questions like we normally do. And after asking questions, you will now believe that these things will likely be for you. And you get mine. Come on your phone, do transfer. Come on your ATM, pay. So even do part payment and pay instrumentally. And they finish paying, collected their package to start the business. And the person will get mine, write 30 contacts, finish. Come see look you, come tell you, say, what if nobody pay money? As in, I don't understand. Why would you even think that nobody will pay money? Because, that was even better. Say, what if I don't succeed? As in, I don't understand you. That means you believe that people can succeed, but you don't believe that you can succeed. Please touch us again. Say, I'm a success. I'm a success. Touch us and say, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. Because if you don't believe, in fact, I sometimes I even try to help your mind, because I know that it's because of the way you think, and you have been thinking that way for a long time. I understand. I even do positive affirmation for you. Just recite it yourself. Say it to yourself, because I understand that your body responds to the words of your mouth. If you keep saying, I'm strong, it says 1,000 times, you become strong. You say, I'm weak, you become weak. I'm poor, you become poor. And well, just keep what you talk to yourself, because out of the wonders of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And this your tongue lies power of life and death. So now you could design your path. So we need to settle this matter once and for all, that it is God's divine plan, that God can do it for people, and God must do it for you. And if God has a way, of course, it shouldn't be this way. Let's begin to look at so many things, or one or two things before I gather there. I think I will be able to do two of the out of four, but I'm still struggling with one. But let me just say I can softly land. Write it on your note. Until you are convicted and convinced. Until you are convicted and convinced about God's will for your life, you can never follow God's plan and God's ways for your life. Until you are convicted. That is convicted and convinced about God's will for your life. You can never follow God's ways and plan for your life. You can never. Until you are convinced that it is God's will for me. Once you are convinced and convicted about God's will for your life, you can never follow God's ways and God's plan for your life. You will never. But when they give you knowledge, you will not take it. There's something about salvation with knowledge. I've never seen somebody who truly repented from his sin, who truly accepted Christ into his life, who doesn't like knowledge. Because like children, they yearn for the pure milk of the word of God. They cannot stay without knowledge. Something I don't understand one mathematics that normally do connect. You know, those days we normally give our Christ to on Sunday. On Monday morning we collect it back. We never see it, but what we finally, we have to do that very well in school. When I was in school, hunger used to wire us. So we look for fellowship, NCCF, Castle, Nine Face. We look for me in Nine Face, all those fellowships. So we look for them that normally give. When you accept Christ, they will give you biscuit and mineral. So every Sunday, me and my friend will go to church. Find one to do another, give me biscuit. I will go with. It's the one that accept Christ as your personal Lord. So we raise up our hand. We will collect biscuits and mineral. We chop finish. After we chop finish, Monday morning we collect back the life from God. Go use them first for campus. On Sunday again, we give them back to almost altar call they come out. One day, when they call you, say after me, Lord Jesus, come into my life. I accept you. They say, follow this posture. They will go and give us biscuit and mineral. So we don't the chop every breakfast for church. Every Sunday, so when the usher say, now every Sunday they give your life to Christ. Say, brother, now your life. So that's why we don't go that particular fellowship again. Why that fellowship? So they give biscuit and moi and bread, something like that. But what finally made our mind to give God the life finally or accepting Christ? There's something about study. Then I study. Then remind me for 1960 or no continue for year. So if you are not convinced of God's will for your life, you will never follow through the way. If you are not convinced about God's purpose for your life, you will not follow through the plan. The enemy wants you to be conflicted and doubt God on the subject of wealth, because some people are not sure if God really wants them to be rich and wealthy. Internal conflict is a double-minded mind, and a double-minded mind is not stable in all his ways. You will not receive anything from the Lord. Heaven is closed when you bring doubt to the subject of wealth. Write that down your note as we round up today's class. Heaven is closed when you bring doubt to the subject of wealth. Heaven is closed. Their hands are tied. Heaven is closed when you bring doubt to the subject of wealth. Heaven is closed when you bring doubt to the subject of wealth. Full stop. Please, even though you're not written anything down, write this one thing as a take home. Like, everything I talk to did not make sense at all. I think maybe this one will make sense for you. If you don't write anything, write this one down. The fact that you write down, because I know transformation occurs in your process. Write down. When it comes to being wealthy, you must not doubt about God's will. When it comes to being wealthy, you must not, underline the word must not, entertain doubt about God's will for your life. When it comes to the subject of being wealthy, you must not entertain doubt about God's will for your life. Doubters don't doubt God's hand, don't doubt God's power and ability. Doubters always doubt God's will. When it comes to the subject of wealth, you must not doubt, you must not entertain doubt about God's will for your life. So settle that one. You cannot say, just go home to that I'm wealthy and wealthy. Make sure it sinks to your subconscious mind, superconscious mind. When it comes to being wealthy, you must not entertain doubt about God's will. So, because God's purpose and plan for men was to have dominion over the works of his hand. So, you're a friend of God, you're a child of God, you're also a co-heir. So, to be a manager, steward, and leaders, and exercise leadership over the works of God's hand. So, you must be justified by faith that I am very rich and wealthy. Identify yourself as God's friend, as God's child, and also you are the co-heirs. So, write it on your note as we round up this class this morning. I am rich and wealthy. Write it out on your note in capital letter. I am rich and wealthy. If you are not writing capital letter, write it in small letter, but write it 2 times. I am rich and wealthy. I am rich and wealthy. I am rich and wealthy. Let that matter be settled in your mind. So when I come tomorrow, I'll finish this class. I'll finish this particular number 1. I'll now give out the remaining 3. It's going to be an interesting class so that we will not have to struggle again on the subject of being wealthy, rich and wealthy. Because if you don't believe that you are rich and wealthy, no matter what somebody is doing, you will secretly leave that place and doubt and say, what are they talking? I know God, you see what they money, they already keep your hand like this. They are rich and we are poor. We are poor masses and they are rich people. So what happened to the rich and wealthy? Why can't you be among the top 1% of the world population? Be crazy about your life. Be crazy about your potentials. Be crazy about discovering, develop and deploy your potential, because God has given you everything that pertains to life and godliness. Even though you are born naked, you are not born empty. God has deposited something in all of us. Giftings, ideas, talents, creativity. Your job is to discover, develop, and deploy. So you don't discover, you don't develop, don't envy, don't be jealous of someone else's own. Because you need to focus more on yourself to be able to become impactful and creative, making contribution to leave the world a better place. Develop and control your own quota on the economy, because entrepreneurs build the economy. Politicians most likely don't build the economy. And you don't build the economy by natural resources. You build the economy by mental resources. So not mental resources. Somebody is secretly telling you, our life is happy. You need to describe his problem. Please stop describing your problem. The more you describe your problem, the more problem you have. Describe your blessings. Because the more things whatever you focus on expands. Tell on neighbor. Whatever you focus on expands. Count your blessings. You have some advantage. You have hands, you have legs. These advantages. You have health. There's advantages. You have resources already. So I told you something at a round of this class. Not all currency are money, but all money are currency. Tell neighbor, neighbor. Not all money. Not all money are currency. Currency. But all currency. But all currency are money. So what are the currencies you have? You have a lot of currency already. Time is currency. Energy is currency. Health is currency. Naira is currency. Dollar is currency. Intelligence is currency. Effort is currency. You can make effort to make money. You put system and structure, that's currency. Anything you can exchange for money is currency. It's not currency. If I get a job, put my time for it, put my energy, with health. Anything can exchange for money. So cannot tell me you don't have anything. A lot of currency. That universal currency. Some are universal currency. Some of them you have to trade at a higher level of called fourth dimension. Imagine currency. So not all currency, not all the currency you spend is money. You cannot come to, you cannot just go and say, I have kindness, love, please give me money. But you see, we can trade that kindness and love, convert it to value and exchange for money. So you can see anything you can exchange, convert it to value. Product or services is currency. You can always exchange it. But people don't understand universal currency. So they think that you need money to make money. No. I told you about 5 levels of money, but today is not the class. That's not what you need. But currency, naira, that is called fiat. That thing is not even the real money. It's a manifestation of what you have done with your currency. It's a manifestation of, it's a reward. Money is a reward for value you created. Money is a reward for making impact. Money is a reward for making contribution. So people that are looking for money, rich men look for value, poor man look for money. That's why they don't have it. Money is a slave of value. Tell them money is a slave of value. You are not poor. You cannot be poor. But not the experienced poverty has broken the principles of wealth long enough that poverty manifests in his life. In fact, it's easier to succeed than to fail. Easier to succeed than to fail. Today is not the class. I will meet you tomorrow. So, online community, don't get involved in a business without a mentor. You know why? Mentorship is a little shortcut to success. He that stands on the shoulder of mentors will see far. See you tomorrow. See you at the top. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Shalom. That's the best we can take today. Okay, for the rest of us here, I just